When we picture the Old West, we imagine heavy revolvers hanging low on leather belts, the sunlight flashing off steel as the hero draws at high noon. But that image, like most Western legends, is half fantasy, half memory. Real cowboys didn't walk around with gleaming six-shooters on display. Most of the time, their guns were hidden, tucked under coats, wrapped in cloth, or buried deep inside saddlebags. Because for a rookie cowboy, a gun wasn't for show. It was for survival, a last resort in a world that cared little for heroes. Number 10. The Hideaway Colt. Long before the Peacemaker became a legend, cowboys carried smaller Colts, pocket-sized revolvers that could vanish beneath a vest or bandana. The Colt 1849 pocket revolver was one of the most popular, a 5-shot 31 caliber pistol that weighed less than 2 pounds. It wasn't made for duels, it was made for emergencies. A snake on the trail, a wolf in the dark, or a thief in a saloon corner. That's when the Hideaway Colt appeared. No quick draw, no spinning barrel, just a quiet click and the smell of gunpowder in the dust. Number 9. The Derringer, the gentleman's secret. Tiny enough to fit in a boot or a coat pocket, the Philadelphia Derringer was the weapon of gamblers, bartenders, and cowhands who wanted protection without weight. It fired only once, but once was often enough. The barrel was barely 2 inches long, and its report sounded more like a firecracker than a gunshot. It wasn't power that made it deadly. It was proximity. At arm's length, a Derringer could change the odds fast. Many cowboys carried one as a backup, hidden under a vest or tucked behind a belt buckle. Because on the frontier, even a small gun was better than none. Number 8. The belt buckle gun. Few people realized that by the 1870s, inventive gunsmiths were building concealed firearms that looked like belt buckles, knives, or even pipes. They were single-shot curiosities, but for men who couldn't legally carry a visible gun inside town limits, they were clever loopholes. One quick flick, one hidden trigger, and you had a weapon in plain sight. Not every cowboy owned one, but the concept spread through frontier towns as the law began tightening its grip. The West was learning to hide its firepower. Number 7. The pepperbox revolver. Before the Colt's revolver cylinder became standard, there was the pepperbox, a strange multi-barreled pistol that looked like a cluster of pipes. It could fire multiple shots without reloading, but with unpredictable accuracy. By the 1850s, many cowhands, stagecoach guards, and travelers still used old pepperboxes because they were cheap and compact. They hid easily under a coat, inside a saddlebag, or wrapped in a bedroll. They weren't elegant, but they worked. And in the Wild West, working was all that mattered. Number 6. The sawed-off shotgun. You didn't carry this one in a holster. You hid it under your saddle blanket or across your lap in a wagon. A double-barreled shotgun with its barrel shortened to around 18 inches was the cowboy's secret equalizer. Loaded with buckshot or mixed ammunition, it was devastating up close. Stagecoach guards, ranch hands, and even gamblers kept one hidden near at all times. The sawed-off shotgun wasn't a duelist's weapon. It was a message: don't come closer. Number 5. The Hideaway Remington Derringer. The Remington Model 95 became the iconic boot gun of the late 19th century. 2 barrels, break-open design, and easily concealable. It fired the 41 rimfire, slow but heavy, and was often the last chance for men caught unarmed. Cowboys often carried them behind the holster or tucked into the top of a boot. It was the perfect backup, light, reliable, and silent until it wasn't. Many a gambler's last move was reaching down for his boot, not his belt. Number 4. The pocket rifle. Yes, there was such a thing. The Merrill or Sharps pocket rifles were small, single-shot guns with folding stocks. Part pistol, part carbine. They were ideal for long rides where a full-length rifle was too bulky to carry. Cowboys used them to hunt rabbits, scare off coyotes, or defend camp without the weight of a Winchester. They weren't meant for duels. They were for quiet nights on the prairie and for staying alive when the nearest help was 50 miles away. Number 3, the hideaway in the hat. One of the strangest frontier customs was hiding small weapons inside clothing. Some cowboys stitched short knives or even a Derringer into their hat bands or jacket linings. The gun wasn't meant for fast access. It was meant for surprise. If a man thought you were unarmed, that assumption might just save your life. By the 1880s, concealed carry laws in towns like Dodge City and Tombstone pushed men to hide their guns in every possible way, and creativity became survival. Number 2, the boot gun. If you wore boots that reached your knees, you had a secret. Many cowboys slipped small revolvers, Colt pocket navies, Remington double Derringers into soft leather holsters sewn into their boots. Quick to reach, easy to hide, and nearly impossible to detect unless you knew where to look. In a saloon fight, the man who bent down to fix his boot wasn't always fixing his boot. Number 1, the hidden rifle in the saddle. Of all the secret guns on the frontier, none were more important than the one tied to the saddle. Most cowboys kept a rifle, usually a Winchester or Spencer, inside a scabbard that hung from the saddle horn or stirrup. The trick? The scabbard often held 2 guns, one visible for show and one shorter, sawed-off rifle hidden in a second layer of leather. One for appearances, one for survival. Because on the trail, you never knew which one you'd need first.
The cowboy's gun was never just a symbol of power. It was a tool, a last defense, and sometimes a secret no one was meant to see. For every gleaming Colt on a gun belt, there were 3 more weapons hidden away in boots, hats, and saddle scabbards, waiting quietly for their moment. Each one told a story of a long ride home, a campfire under cold stars, a tense moment when survival depended on a single pull of a trigger that no one else would ever hear. When Hollywood showed us the West, it gave us noise, gunfights, duels, and dust. But the real West lived in the quiet moments, the slow draw of breath before danger, the creak of leather under moonlight, the weight of a weapon you hoped you'd never need. These hidden guns weren't trophies or symbols of glory. They were reminders that the frontier was never about being the fastest. It was about lasting the longest. And as the wind still whispers across the empty plains, their stories remain there. Not in museums or movies, but in the silence of the trails where men once rode with their secrets tucked under their coats and their courage carried in steel. Because in the end, the real West wasn't written in gunfire. It was written in restraint, in the quiet, enduring strength of the men who carried their history, one hidden weapon at a time.